Hello and welcome to Inventus Mining's 2021 AGM presentation. My name is Stefan and I'm the Chairman and CEO of the company. Other members of the executive team include Wesley Weimark, VP Exploration, Carmelo Morelli, CFO, and your independent board of directors, Robert Michichuk, Gary Nassif, Nils Engelstad, Richard Sutcliffe, Doug Hunter, and Mark Hall. During this presentation, I will be making forward-looking statements. Investors should recognize that results may differ. Inventus holds two large-scale land positions, the Pardo Paleoplacer Gold Project and the Sudbury 2.0 Polymetallic Project. Both projects are close to Sudbury, which allows us to be highly efficient with our time, effort, and our capital. I'll start the presentation by reviewing the main achievements over the past 12 months. First, the acquisition of the Cobalt Hill and Rathbun properties from Cooksville Steel consolidated the Sudbury 2.0 district and added two advanced and very prospective areas to explore. Immediately following the acquisition, we initiated a drilling program to confirm historic mineralization and provide all important core samples for geochemical analysis. Results were impressive, with the lake zone returning 18.5 meters of 7 grams per ton gold and 0.8% copper, and the Cobalt Hill zone returning 44 meters of 1.3 grams per ton gold and very anomalous cobalt and nickel. During the period, a private investment held by Inventus was acquired by Conquest Resources, TSX Venture, symbol CQR. Inventus continues to hold a significant stake in Conquest, who are aggressively exploring the eastern portion of the Tomogamy magnetic anomaly. We also advanced Pardo by successfully permitting a 50,000-ton bulk sample and starting a program of mini-bulk sampling that we hope will pave the way to a maiden resource for the project. Many of you will be familiar with Pardo. It's a paleoplacer gold project which consists of variably mineralized conglomerate beds approximately 2.4 billion years in age. These sediments were deposited before the Earth's atmosphere contained much oxygen, and when modern-day Finland was adjacent to modern-day Northern Ontario, a very different world from today. I'm personally attracted to Pardo because of the impressive grades, like the sample you see on the screen, but also because sedimentary deposits have the potential to be large, sometimes massive. A few super high-grade samples do not make a mine. We have to ask ourselves, is what we have enough to potentially be a mine? This diagram shows the extent of the mineralized conglomerates discovered so far by drilling. The zone is 4 kilometers in length, which at a jog would take you 30 minutes to traverse. In this area alone, I think the answer is yes. But the geology continues, sometimes undercover, over an even more extensive area, and regionally there are still more similar prospects. However, we need to understand the gold grade, and to do that we need to focus on one small area at a time. First effort in that regard was a single 1,000-ton bulk sample, which we mined and milled to recover 120 ounces of gold, a calculated head grade of 4.2 grams per ton, including assays from the tailings. This was highly encouraging, particularly because the weighted average gold grade in the drilling performed prior to mining was only 1.3 grams per ton. It was early confirmation that our hypothesis that drilling alone is not sufficient seemed to be correct. From that initial test, the mineralization fans out laterally under shallow cover. Recently, we have been focused on modeling the available data to figure out what we can do to develop a robust model that could then turn into a maiden mineral resource estimate. The hatched area outlines the block we're targeting for the initial resource. It is the area where we have the most information. The cross-section, AA prime, cuts through the modeled area, and you'll see the section on the next screen. The surface topography is the gray surface, and the mineralized boulder conglomerate is in purple. You'll notice that except for a small fault offset, it is consistent across the 350-meter zone. The grade in the drilling, however, is variable, and in some cases excellent, almost 6 meters of 7 grams per ton gold, but also very low-grade intercepts. Why is this? Are the sediments fundamentally different? This is the challenge of a paleoplacer. When the sample size is small, as with diamond drill holes, the variability is large. Fortunately, we think we might have a solution. We're testing a new approach that was used by Novo Resources at their Beatons Creek project in Australia, which is currently starting commercial production. Novo collected 45 2-ton samples for analysis, thus providing a large enough volume of material to capture the inherent grade variability. We're trying the same approach with 6 samples to prove the concept. The graphic shows the location of the test pits at the 007 zone with red squares. Our hypothesis is that the larger samples will return grades somewhere between the diamond drill holes, which averaged 3.8 grams per ton, and the channel samples, which had considerably higher grades. This work is occurring as I speak, with results expected in July. Continuing the comparison between Pardo and Beaton's Creek, we see that the projects are quite similar, however Beaton's is further advanced. We take the view that if Beaton's Creek proves to be a successful mine, then Pardo certainly has that potential. I'll now move on to our second project, Sudbury 2.0, and our quest to make a major discovery above the largest unexplained magnetic, dense, and conductive anomaly in North America, called the Temagami Geophysical Anomaly, or TMA for short. The image on the screen shows the TMA and its proximity to the Sudbury anomaly, which was explained a century ago. We acquired the majority of the ground outlined on the figure by staking. The project has advanced through diligent fieldwork, mining historical data and abandoned core samples, geophysical processing, and limited drilling. Our effort and results have identified over 10 targets, each in one of 2 geologic categories: IOCG type polymetallic gold, copper, nickel, cobalt targets, and Sudbury type magmatic nickel, copper, PGE targets. The presence of a mix of deposit types can be confusing. As a non-geologist, what is important to remember is that if the target occurred in a Sudbury offset dike, this means that the mineralization is related to the meteorite impact that formed the Sudbury crater and basin, and the emplacement of any mineralization most likely propagated down from the massive melt sheet above the present-day surface. While the IOCG type mineralization would have emanated from deep in the earth, but may also have been influenced by the immense force of the meteorite impact. Indeed, we see evidence that the mineralizing events overlapped in geologic time. This diagram shows a cross-section of our 2021 drilling at Cobalt Hill. We completed 2 holes, both intercepted mineralized breccias. Economic values of gold, copper, and nickel, as well as anomalous rare earth elements. We believe Cobalt Hill could be a breccia pipe-like structure, which will eventually be confirmed by additional drilling. We plan to conduct a 3D IP survey in the area, as IP will identify areas of higher sulfide content, which correlates with gold and other metals. These are core photos from holes 1 and 2 at Cobalt Hill. In addition to gold and some nickel, these samples have some of the highest cobalt grades we've seen so far, 0.17% in the top photo and 0.11% in the bottom. We completed 4 holes at the lake zone. The first confirmed high-grade mineralization near surface, intercepting 18 meters of 7 grams per ton gold and 0.8% copper. The second extended under the lake to intersect a separate breccia body. Like at Cobalt Hill, we believe 3D IP is the best choice to identify areas within the breccia to target with follow-up drilling. This is an example of a high-grade sulfide breccia from hole 1 at the lake zone. This material graded just under 1 ounce per ton. The Rathbun offset dike is in a different area within the Sudbury 2.0 project. It's a high-grade nickel-copper PGE occurrence, 15 kilometers east of the Sudbury Basin. At a historic shaft, semi-massive sulfide was mined in the early 1900s. Research conducted in 2020 discovered Sudbury-type geology at Rathbun that was previously unrecognized, and a paper on the subject was accepted for publication in a prestigious geologic journal. The semi-massive sulfide samples collected by Inventus averaged 28.5 grams per ton palladium, 4.9 grams per ton platinum, 2.7 grams per ton gold, 9.7% copper, and 0.3% nickel. Very impressive and highly unusual palladium-rich mineralization. Recently, a low sulfide, high PGE mineralization was identified in a silicious quartz diorite shown in the bottom photo. This realization that the low sulfide samples can also contain high-grade PGEs and gold is most interesting because old-timers in the 1900s surely did not recognize that this barren-looking rock was in fact highly valuable. I am really looking forward to following up an exploration in this area. In another area called Bassfin, yet another new offset dike was discovered. Credit for this discovery goes to one of our directors, Mark Hall. It is a similar distance to Sudbury as the mineralized Rathbun offset dike. Here, recrystallized Sudbury breccia, or metabreccia, occurs as inclusions and along the contact of the dike. Metabreccia is a strong indicator of proximity to the melt sheet that enriched nickel-copper PGE mineralization in Sudbury, making it a very interesting exploration target. To date, only grassroots surface work has been conducted. This season, our exploration program includes 3D IP survey at Cobalt Hill, a borehole IP survey at the Lake Zone, and a property-wide airborne MT survey, followed up by drilling. The helicopter-based magnetotelluric, or MT, survey we're conducting is a state-of-the-art technology that can discover mineralization between a depth of 50 meters and 2 kilometers. It will be flown above the dense conductive and magnetic tomogamy anomaly in the area outlined on the figure, approximately 350 square kilometers. The goal is to narrow down the targets so they can be effectively tested with drilling. We have an idea from a 3D inversion of data collected by Falconbridge in the 1990s that there are some good conductors, but they lack definition. In summary, in the coming quarter we will receive results from the first mini-bulk sampling at Pardo, as well as the results from the IP and MT surveys. In the fourth quarter, we're hoping to advance the larger bulk sample at Pardo, deliver results of a maiden resource, probably on a fraction of the known mineralization, and resume drilling at Sudbury 2.0 to test new targets as well as the Rathbun occurrence. It's a busy half year ahead. Be well, everyone, and happy investing.